welcome back to the Mindset and Muscle podcast. I'm your host, Keshi, and if you're watching on YouTube, you might notice, or even maybe on Spotify, I don't know yet, but you might notice that I'm back to video. So now, why? Because I already went through this and I said that audio was better because the quality of the audio was better. So even if there was no video, it's still kind of like I'd rather give you good quality audio for a podcast since a lot of you are just listening to it while doing something else. However, I figured there was a lot of golden nuggets that I found in the previous episodes that I wanted just to share, just a little snippet on Instagram or things like that. But I couldn't really do it properly because it would just be, is it called an audiogram or something? Basically, it would just be the audio, and I shared one like this, but I don't like it very much. I would very much like to be able to share a video on Instagram for Reels. And even on YouTube, like I've been adding a thumbnail and just kind of posting it like the video itself, but YouTube is for the audio itself. But YouTube is for videos. So I think I'm gonna go back to video. And then for now, while I'm trying to figure it out, I might just post it separately. So what I'm doing right now is recording the audio with my headset from my phone, which are going to be for YouTube and Instagram Reels and things like that when I cut it out. And maybe I'm going to post just the audio from that mic on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And hopefully soon on like every other different podcast platform. Having one episode a day has been pretty hectic, to say the least. I'm going to talk more about that maybe on the 25th or the 26th or something. Once I finish it, I'm going to go into what I learned from this 25 days. I've learned a lot. I'm very grateful for that experience, but it wasn't an easy experience. I already missed 2 days, which I kind of want to catch up on and still by the end of it have the 25 episodes, but we'll see. So either way, if I do manage to incorporate that perfect audio, not perfect, but that a lot better audio from the mic with everything, then I'll do it. Then maybe Spotify is going to be back to having a video podcast as well. But, we'll see. I am still in my experimental phase, which is also why I'm grateful. One of the reasons that's what is it called? A spoiler alert for the next episode when I talk about what I learned in those 25 days. Well, one of them is that the ability to really experiment really fast has been really helpful. But anyway, today I actually wanted to continue with the Fitness 101 Basics of Fitness series. However, today I just have no script or anything, no notes, but I wanted to talk about having a messy environment. And I wanted to kind of break it down into two parts. One, it being a temporary kind of messy environment, and the other one being something that is ongoing, because I've been through both phases. Right now, actually, what caused me to really want to make that episode is because my environment, like I tried to just shove it elsewhere right now for the sake of this episode, but my environment, the basement where I'm living right now, is really messy right now. And that's just it has been like that for a couple of days, not for too long. Lately I have been very good at keeping a clean environment, except for this past week. It has been a pretty hectic week, I would say. So that, I guess the purpose really of this episode is to talk about how a messy environment is very much related to a messy mind. So let's talk about when we have it as like a temporary state. And I think that's normal and that's okay. And that will happen to probably everybody, where we'll have this very busy, hectic day or week or couple weeks, hopefully not much longer than this, but basically where everything is go, go, go. We don't really have a lot of time to relax, which is also not good. But first of all, on this side of like, we don't have time to clean up. For example, right now, I have to now make sure I put all like the Christmas gifts like on one side and like finish wrapping everything up, and then clean everything in terms of like all the laundry that I did, I haven't folded anything, or kind of everything that I just left like conveniently placed everywhere. But it's a mess. It doesn't make me, it's kind of like a vicious cycle basically. So it starts with my mind being super messy, or my life currently being super overwhelming for a big part, and really not allowing myself to slow down. So now when everything is too go go go, when everything is overwhelming and my mind's getting messy, then obviously I feel like I don't have time to put things away. I don't have time to do a good clean, or to I just kind of leave things anywhere. I don't even put them back in their spot. And then it becomes worse, because when I'm coming after work into this environment, that's not a very nice environment to be in. So then I kind of look around, I'm like, there's like clothes everywhere, or there's going to be clothes on like the couch that I'm going to be putting on the bed again and then putting back on the couch. Or maybe somebody has, like, some of you have a designated chair for the clothes that go back and forth. Chair, bed, etc. I used to have this, I don't anymore. But right now, like this week, it's been kind of going from like this couch here to the bed and then back here. Especially as I just started modeling, so there's lots of clothes that I'm trying on, or there's a lot more clothes going in and out of my closet right now. So more folding to do, or putting everything back. But basically, just because everything has been so overwhelming, my environment became super messy too, and living in that environment makes it a lot harder for me to relax, to de-stress, to slow down. And I really, when you have a little bit of cleaning to do, you feel like, okay, let me just do it. When you have like, you feel like you have a deep clean to do, and it might not be like this. You might feel, when it's very messy, you might feel like it's very dirty, but it might just be messy. Like, you just have to put things back in their place. But again, it just feels very dirty, and I feel like, oh my god, I'm gonna take like 2 hours to do that. Most of the time when it's been messy, like 15 minutes, I don't actually know, maybe it's a little bit more than that. Like, it depends on how messy it is, but it doesn't take that long, 15-20 minutes, and I get a lot done. Sometimes even 10 minutes to do. Like, it depends on what you're doing, obviously, but just putting, kind of organizing things doesn't necessarily always take that long if it's just putting things back in their place. But if I only had a little bit to do, again, I very well could have done it at any other day during this week, but then it just kept on accumulating, and I felt like lazier and lazier, and that's how we feel as things are just there. So you just add on, like, oh, I already have like dirty dishes or whatever. I'll just like, what's one more, instead of, like, for example, if you have dirty dishes, not even in the sink, if you kind of leave it on the table, and then the next day you're like, oh, what's one more, right? Whereas if that's going to be your first dirty dish, sometimes I feel like that, then I'm less likely to put it here. I'm like, it's just one glass, I'm gonna wash it. But when you have a wave of 1, 2, 3 days that are super hectic, that you don't have time to do anything else, again, it just adds up. So that's one thing. But another thing is, there used to be a time where this was constant in my life. No time to slow down. Everything was go, go, go. And again, right now, with having an episode a day, it's pretty hectic. It's very hectic, but I know it's just temporary. I'm not going to keep on doing that. And if I think that, oh, like week after week, I keep having super hectic where I don't have time to relax and to do things that I love, and I'm just tired all the time, always in a rush, then I need to take a step back. And some people might look at my life and be like, well, you are always in a rush, or you are always busy doing something. Those are two different things. I have a packed schedule in general. I don't like being bored. I really don't like being bored. So I will do something, which is also why I don't really do last minute plans, because I probably already kind of filled it with something. But sometimes that thing might be a solo date, or it might be just a night for myself that I need that night to rest. So if I already plan, like, to order like pizza or something and watch a nice movie and just stay home and have some self-care, and then you suddenly ask me to hang out, sorry, I'm busy. I'm busy doing something for myself. But again, I'm not rushed, I'm not hectic. It's something for me to distress. But So it's not just because I'm not available doesn't always mean I'm always in a rush. But when I find myself always in that rush mode, then I need to take a step back and be like, okay, Kashi, do you really want, is that how you want your whole life to be? Or, because yeah, you have big goals and things like that, so you can't just be lazy and spend hours in front of the TV or playing video games. But there's also this balance of you not wanting to, like, I'm not really into like the hustle culture, as in like not sleeping and just working all night or only getting 2 hours of sleep. I'm really not into that, but I am into actually working towards your goals. So you can't just be lazy. I don't watch a lot of TV, I don't play video games, and I'm not saying you shouldn't either. If that's the thing that allows you to de-stress, it's fine if you add it in. But see how much time you're putting into everything. So how much time are you putting into video games and playing, just, I don't know, shooting zombies, or video games could vary from playing The Sims, which I love to do, to like shooting zombies. So just whatever. How much time are you, for example, I'm going to go back to when I was playing Sims. How much time am I putting in making my fake character or my character having the dream life instead of me going on and having the dream life, right? So we do have to put in the effort, and I understand that, but finding the balance, I guess I'm still trying to find it, but it's still important to not be overworked, because when we're overworked, not only are we talking about this environment being super messy, but at the end of the day, just, so messy environment, messy mind, messy everything, but it leads to being more and more negative, more and more stressed. Your mind gets like kind of worse and worse and worse state until you probably burn out after. So now again, if you're in that state constantly, it's important to reflect and think of, how can I distress? You might have a lot going on, but your stress might only be a 3 because you know how to manage that stress very well. Or again, like I said, maybe a lot of your time are also allocated for your self-care, so then you're not super stressed and you're including your meditation and things like that allow you to calm down. Or you might have less things going on, but you don't really take the time to actually distress. Sometimes all the time that we have, as like we're taking a break from something, we're scrolling on social media and things like that. This doesn't really allow us to distress that much, I would say. This still, like, it doesn't decrease that stress, that overwhelm, that like, it's giving us too, like, in my opinion, it's giving us too much like stimulation about everything. And it also depends on how your social media is, but a lot of people can see a lot of very negative things on social media, so not everyone. So some people, maybe you have a social media where you have nice motivating quotes and it's very inspirational for you, and again, like, I still wouldn't recommend you spending 6 hours a day on there, but still, like, it's okay. Like, maybe it does allow you to relax. Maybe you have some nice yoga stuff, I don't know. Other people might have very negative and violent and or gossipy, or kind of all those things, like, so either lots of celebrity news or gossips, or lots of like violent stuff, like all of those that aren't really serving you to be the best version of yourself, that might do the opposite of allowing you to kind of relax right now. Oh, you're seeing the celebrities being, either you're seeing people, not selling, you're seeing people on the internet doing, like, influencers just having the perfect body, having the perfect house, having the perfect whatever. For example, everyone has a Lamborghini these days. I feel like a lot of us know that a lot of those are rented, but when we're watching this, we're kind of thinking, I wish that could be me. Or then you're seeing Taylor Swift and I don't remember who got in an argument, or was it Selena Gomez or somebody else getting into some gossips or something, and you're just paying so much attention to that and spending a lot of hours trying to figure out what happened. That, all of those don't allow you to distress and is not helping you declutter your mind. Instead, if you just take some time to meditate, and I feel like that could sound boring, but even just watching like Friends, or watching like a funny or nice show that's better than scrolling on social media. Like I would say, like again, like something like Friends, I would say I would rather somebody spend their time doing that and actually like kind of chilling than listening to the news all day or listening to like celebrity gossips all day or things like that. So now another thing to keep in mind in terms of a messy environment, I've noticed that it's so much easier to put things back in their place the moment you're done using it. That would apply to things like your keys, of course, that I have an air tag on my keys now just because I lose it so often. I misplace it. So it's not even like it will be in one of the 7 places that I know it would probably be in. Maybe it's in my bag, maybe it's on this table, on the other table. And again, I live with my parents, but in the basement, so it could be somewhere up here that I spend a lot of time to, or somewhere down here. But there's just so many places it could be. I will end up finding it, but then every time that I kind of lose it, I spend 10-15 minutes looking for it. That's such a waste of time. Whereas if I just put it back in that place where it always is and it always should be, that one place it should be, that saves me so much time just looking for it. But again, the air tag is also saving me a lot of time because I can just make the sound and find it. And whether or not you have an air tag, it's still messy if it's everywhere. Like keys are very little, but just everything else. For example, when you're done using your book, put it back on the shelf or the nightstand or wherever it is. Or when you're done using dishes, at least place it in the sink, but just put it in the dishwasher. That's a lot easier. And then when you run the dishwasher, you don't have to waste more time then. Like you just run the dishwasher once it's full. What else am I kind of looking around? Like your makeup and things like that, your hairbrush, your toothbrush, just everything. Don't just leave things kind of everywhere. I heard a quote recently, and I actually heard that a couple times recently. How you do anything is how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. And I'm really trying to remember that at several points throughout the day. So if you're the type of person who is going to go to the washroom and water is going to splash everywhere and you're just going to leave it, how you do anything is how you do everything. You're probably not giving 100% of you in other aspects of your life as well. Or again, if you're kind of just living things everywhere instead of putting it back in their place, how you do anything is how you do everything. Do everything you do in the best possible way. Kind of be the best version of yourself whenever you can. And that really translates into when you have to use that. If you're so used to doing things well, when it comes to these important habits, it's just a lot easier. And it just happens automatically. You don't have to force yourself to be a different person because you're the type of person who does things well the right time. You do things well either way, whether or not somebody is watching. So yeah, this episode might be a little bit like, it was very much more unscripted. And the thing is, I like a lot more of my episodes to be a little scripted, or I have notes, just so I'm not really going on tangents and just talking about what's in my mind, because I feel like sometimes it's just about like me personally instead of necessarily adding, like I'm adding value, yes, but it's a lot of personal stories if I'm just gonna go on like tangents like this, which is why I usually prefer to have my notes in front of me, so then I stay on point and I have specific points to talk about. But today, yeah, I just saw my environment being super messy and I wanted to, I didn't have a script, or I didn't take notes, I didn't take the time to write out anything, but I wanted to talk about it. I felt like I would be more passionate today talking about it than I would be tomorrow or the day after. Like today, this is very fresh in my mind and I'm very passionate about it right now. Something that I forgot to mention is that we are all having a few more days off from work with the holidays and things like that. And so I feel like it's nice that Christmas is on Monday because today is only the 23rd. So take that time if you have some cleaning to do or some decluttering to do or some organizational things to do or some planning to do for the new year. Take those kind of days off or days that you have a little more time to get those things done, to kind of reset. It's important to kind of do at least a little weekly reset, like a mini reset, and then every month or so it's also good to do a reset. But for example, every week a mini reset for making sure your environment is clean, making sure, or you're doing your laundry, doing kind of everything is, again, reset. Laundry done and folded back in their place, dishes washed back in the cabinets, all the, in this case, and maybe all the Christmas gifts have been wrapped, they're put just aside or whatever. Vacuum, like just a nice reset, so when you start again on Monday, it's so fresh, it's so nice. It's like making your bed in the morning, honestly. Like, some people are like, why should I make my bed? And it's gonna get messy again. But it's so good to come back to a bed that's made, compared to, nobody really wants to come back to a bed that's not made. I'm gonna be honest. Like, either you like don't care that much about it, but like once you start actually making your bed, you'll realize how much better of a feeling it is to come back to that nice warm bed that has been made, that is fresh. So yeah, take that time this weekend to, and I'm gonna do that too, to kind of do it, wash your sheets, do kind of like a good clean, a good organizational thingy, because you have more time probably than other days. So I know obviously you're going to take a lot of those, this time is going to be for family things, but I think we'll still be able to find, realistically, we'll still have more time to, even including things with family and stuff, we'll still have more time to be able to do some cleaning and some organizational stuff. Like I said, it doesn't take that long. You think it's going to take quite a bit of time. It doesn't actually have to take that long. But yeah, that was everything for today. And as usual, if you're enjoying the podcast, please give me a 5-star review. And this was not about like fitness or nutrition, but just reminding everybody that if you want to work with me if you want me as your nutrition coach, and soon I'm going to finish my personal training program and I'm going to start adding personal training to my services as well. But if you wanted to start working with me, the link is in the show notes. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.